Hi everyone, my name is Olivia and I'm an energy and carbon analyst here at Salix, and in this video I'll be going through the application form for Phase 3 of Scotland's Public Sector Heat Decarbonisation Fund. I'll guide you through the application form tabs and explain for each one what kind of information we expect to see from you. I'll also point out where you can find helpful prompts within the document to support you as you complete your application. If you have any questions relating to Phase 3 of the scheme, please reach out to our team at scotlandgrants@salixfinance.co.uk. The most up-to-date version of the application form can be found on the Scotland webpage on our website under Phase 3 Scotland's Public Sector Heat Decarbonisation Fund section. The first tab is the Guidance tab. This section is here to walk you through how to fill out the application form, and this should be the first reference point if you have any questions on how to fill out your application. The guidance goes through each step of the application process and outlines what is required for each question. The next tab is the Checklist tab, and here you will need to indicate which type of project you are submitting, Type A, Fabric First and Clean Heating System, or Type B, Fabric First. This tab is designed to help guide you through the form. The questions are listed and tailored to your project type and will help you confirm whether you have all the required documents ready for submission. We recommend you review and complete this section before starting the rest of the form, as it will help ensure you're well prepared before moving forwards. Next, you will need to fill out step 1.1, where you'll be asked to provide general information including the name of the public sector body applying and the names of any consultants or contractors involved in the project. For organisation type, applicants must select whether they fall under local authorities and universities or Scotland central government. This affects the value of your client contribution, so please ensure it is entered correctly. If you need any further information on this, you can find it in section 2.1 and 2.2 of the guidance notes. We'll also ask you to provide a project summary, which helps us get a clear understanding of what your project scope is. Within this step, you'll also confirm that your project is eligible, which requires confirmation that your organisation either owns or has long-term lease for the building or buildings where you're planning to carry out this proposed work. All applicants must also detail whether your project can spend the full grant value by the grant end date of the 31st of March 2027. We are accepting programs that have a completion date up to 1 year after the grant end date. However, we are looking for programs that are logical and have a rational time frame for delivery. So it's important to note funding cannot be moved into the following financial year. In step 1.2, project design, we'll expect all applicants to complete questions 1 to 3, which covers details about the existing polluting heating system, your organization's net zero strategy, and the proposed project. It's important to note that question 2 on net zero strategy include additional questions which are new to phase 3 of this scheme. These include questions 2D to G, which are just here. And 2D covers future decarbonisation plans. E covers local heat and energy efficiency strategies, LHES, which is required for projects in potential heat network zones. To F for heat networks, which requires applicants to show they have explored heat network connection options and to explain any reasons for not connecting and demonstrate how the project is designed to be compatible for future connections. And 2G covers non-gas grid buildings for public sector organisations that have non-gas grid connected buildings to state how many they have, end-of-life information, and proof of considering these in an LHES plan. It's worth noting that although parts F and G are not scored, we do ask that you include as much detail as possible in your responses. For question 3A, you'll be asked to provide detailed information about your whole building and fabric first approach. Here you should outline both the current and the proposed building fabric elements. Once you've completed 3A, you'll move on to questions 3B, C, D, and E, which will ask you to provide supporting commentary. peak heat loss calculations, flow temperatures for existing and proposed systems, if applicable, project energy saving calculations, which we ask are provided in an unlocked Excel spreadsheet, energy consumption data, overheating in residential buildings. Please make sure that the file names for all mandatory supporting documents are clearly listed in the supporting documents section under each question. Sections 4 to 6 should only be completed by applicants who are installing a clean heating system. In Section 4, it's important to demonstrate that you've undertaken an options appraisal. An options appraisal includes analysis of the system's feasibility, the existing heat distribution, and any changes that will be required to meet the heating load. Section 5 is specifically for applicants who will be connecting to a heat network, and in Section 6, you'll only need to answer questions that relate to the specific clean heating technologies you are planning to install. To reinforce this point, please ensure that you only complete the sections that are relevant to your application. Throughout the form, the more detailed commentary you provide, the easier it is for our team to understand the full vision of your project and assess it. Step 2.1 and 2.2 cover site details and the building details. In Step 2.1, applicants are required to list all sites included in the application. You'll also be asked to provide the electrical connection details for each site. When completing this, start by entering the site name, the region you're applying from, and the district using the drop-down menu. Then continue across the row, answering the DNO-related questions. In Step 2.2, you'll define each individual building that's part of the application. Each building should be entered on a separate row. It's important to complete the form in a linear order, as some information you enter in earlier tabs will automatically populate other fields in the form. In Section 2.2, you'll be asked to provide the site name, building type, which you can find a list of acceptable types at the bottom of the guidance notes in the tab, type of ownership, remaining lease length if relevant, and whether or not the building is listed. Please make sure you complete all the required fields in this table. In Step 3, we will cover the heating systems. This section is only required for applicants who are installing a clean heating system. In this section, you'll provide information on both your existing polluting heating system and your proposed clean heating system. Some of the data for this section will automatically populate based on earlier inputs, which should make it a bit easier to complete. When filling in this table, use one row per polluting heating system. If you have multiple boilers of the same model and age that will be removed, you can combine them into a single row. And if one system serves multiple buildings, please split this into separate rows and indicate the load for each building separately. In Step 4, the support tool will pull through information you've already entered in the previous tabs. This is also the section where, depending on the project type you selected, you'll input the energy efficiency measures you're planning to install, as well as your choice of clean heating system. At the top of the page, you'll see white boxes which need to be manually completed. These include the bespoke carbon factors if the fuel type is or will be bespoke or part of a district heat network, the site life, project start and completion dates, and the total grant value being requested, which is up to £2.5 million per public sector applicant. The coloured boxes in this tab will auto-populate, so please double check that all your entries here and in the earlier tabs are accurate and input into the correct rows and columns. Once you've entered all the measures, site life and grant value, a carbon cost will be automatically calculated. Applicants should aim for a carbon cost ratio of less than £450 per tonne of direct carbon emissions saved over the project's lifetime. However, we do accept carbon cost ratios of up to a maximum of £1,000 per tonne of carbon. If your project is over this £450 benchmark, you will be expected to justify the value for money of your proposal in Step 5. Please note it's at our discretion at Salix to determine what constitutes good value for money. It's also important that all measures included in your application are sequenced correctly, particularly in terms of how gas savings are distributed from each measure. Please refer to the video on sequencing already on our website, as it covers why this is important and shows an example of how we expect this to be input. Although this was recorded for the previous scheme, it's equally applicable for Phase 3. In Step 5.1, we ask applicants to review the project governance arrangements and provide a cost breakdown. You'll be expected to provide information on the project's costs, comment on value for money, explore your energy and carbon monitoring plan, explain your approach to procurement and governance, and outline the major and minor risks identified in your risk register. And finally, in Step 5.2, we'll be asking you to demonstrate that you've considered the project's long-term impacts across economic, social, and environmental factors. This brings us to the end of our walkthrough of the application form for Phase 3 of Scotland's Public Sector Heating Decarbonisation Fund. We hope you found this video useful, and if you have any questions at all, please reach out to our team at scotlandgrants@salixfinance.co.uk.